Okay, today we are going to be a little bit ambitious, but we're going to try and see if we can compose a short little segment featuring a flute, harp, and strings. So we'll have to get to it pretty quick, but I think this will be some fun. Now, I want to talk about composing with scale bass lines. So there are some what we call cliches in harmony. Certain sort of chord progression procedures that obviously have been well used, but really help with certain aspects of harmony. So, for example, if your bass line is moving in a scale direction, like moving by scale steps, then the music has a lot of direction. And the listener can sense where the music is going, and it can be really satisfying to do. So today we might explore just some simple diatonic scale, major scale, ascending scale bass lines. So to do this, actually I notice, just hang on a sec. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's put all of these onto one little system so we can see what's going on. There we go. That's a lot better. Right, so we need to do our theory to start off. So the way we're going to do this, I'll just make this a bit bigger so we can see it easily. Let's write out our triad. So here's, I'll use the harp. So here's the formula. Going chord 1, chord 2, and then chord 1 first inversion. And then there are several options here. Chord 4. Then instead of chord 5, we're going to do chord 1 second inversion. Then we're going to do chord 4 first inversion. And then chord 5 first inversion, and then that would take us back to chord 1. I should probably put that bar there, but nevertheless. So here's our first theory here. So we've got 1, 2, 7. Always explorating 7th notes to chords. It's fun. And then we have 1. I'm going to put a little figured bass 6. Because we're in first inversion. That's 4. That's 1, 6, 4. Yep. And that's 4 with a little 6. I don't have the figured bass format for these, but that's all right. Chord 5, first inversion. All right. So there's our formula. And we don't necessarily need to use all of it. You will notice that you can go either ascending or descending. So you can descend with the same formula. Now, also, there are other options here. Like I've used here chord 1 second inversion. For example, this 4 here, instead of chord 4, it could be chord 2 first inversion. So there's lots of different options. Instead of chord 2 with a 7th, beautiful 7th added, that's because there's a lovely pivot note there. You can see how if you add a 7th to chord 2 there, then you get this C just magically moving across the whole thing. And in fact, that could have a 7th to it as well. And then there's a C literally moving all the way through. But anyway, so this could have been chord 5 second inversion, a sort of a traditional approach to a passing 6/4 chord, like chord 5 second inversion as a passing chord between chord 1 and chord 1 first inversion. But I'm going to use the 2/7 because it's really nice. Okay, so I'm going to play around with this formula. And I think for our chord 2-6, we might borrow. I looked at that last week, and if you not sure what I'm talking about here, we might borrow from C minor, and we might make that flat. And that's going to be really pretty. So it's going to go from there. Oops, hang on, got the metronome on. We don't need that. Let's turn that down. So, really beautiful. There you go. Okay, so, right, I'm going to compose with an ascending scale bass line, and then I might do a little bit of ascending and then maybe some descending, and we'll see how it sounds. Now, okay, this is looking a bit weird here. Let's sort our score out, because that's looking a bit crazy there. So learning to control bar lines, or whatever software you use, it's good to learn how to manipulate and control bar lines, an essential skill. All right, so, okay, what am I going to do? I'll do... look, let's see if we can do the whole. See if we can do the whole thing. Like, you wouldn't necessarily just use the whole scale. That's not the point of this. But hey, what on earth am I going to do right now? Let's try it, shall we? Okay, so we need a pretty harp pattern, and I think if we just do some arpeggio work here. There we go. Let's see what that sounds like. I might pull that down there. Okay, and once I get a little bit of a format, then you can just kind of copy and paste. So that's going to be chord 1. So now we're going to go to chord 2, but it'll be chord 2 as a 7th. Now chord 1 first inversion, I might add a 7th to it, and then it'll be very pretty when it goes into chord 2-6. All right, now where am I up to? Okay, chord 1 first inversion. So by the time I'm up this height of the bass clef, I don't need such wider intervals at the bottom. Okay, this is going well. All right, so, oh, wait, I was going to put a 7th in there. So, beautiful. Could possibly even do that. Put the 7th note up there as well. I might change that when I'm configuring the melody later on. Now, all right, for some magic. So this is chord 2, but it's it's chord 2 with a 7th, but it's actually D half diminished. So it's got a diminished 5th, and then there's a normal 7th added. So it's D, F, A flat, C. And I'm using it as chord 2 from borrowing it from C minor rather than C major. And I've got it in first inversion, so that's why I've got the F on the bottom here. And we just want to go to the that C there. And I'm sort of making the C, you'll notice I'm making the C a high point there. So here's our chord progression so far. I think this chord here was a bit bare. That might be a bit better if I put the 7th. There we go. Cool. All right. Moving on. So the next one. And I can also add the 7th here. Because it's chord 1 again. Then going back to our theory, I've got chord 4, but I think because I've had the borrowed chord 2 over here, I might make this also borrowed. Actually, no, that's problematic because if I want to go to the chord 5, that's not going to work so much. So I think what I might do is then just go to the root position chord 5, because then I'm not trying to awkwardly leap from the A flat up to the B, which would be an augmented second. But I think it might be nicer, and then to come to a 5, chord 5 as a dominant 7th, I think would be much nicer. All right. So where am I going? All right, got chord 1. So now add these notes in. Okay, and that will be the end of my phrase. I think it'll be really nice. Okay, so here's our chord progression. Oops, need to get rid of that. And then I'll just copy, get rid of those awkward notes. And then I'll just copy that here. So what we might do is use a suspension chord here. So I'm going to replace the 3rd with the 4th. And then have the proper resolved dominant 7th there. So here's the sus. Yep, so always remember sus chords. They're a great little variation that can be thrown in there, and you can set them up to resolve. That sounds wonderful. Right, now, strings. So to now harmonise this, basically cellos and double basses, like right now, I'm not going to go to too much effort here. Sometimes you can put some arpeggio movement into them. Oops, that needs to be flat. And there we go. But right now I'm not going to try and do too much. And really, we just need to put that into the double bass. The double bass is great because it just adds that little extra oomph at the bottom. Of course, it sounds an octave lower, so we need to move that down. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, it's like doing 4-part harmony for these string parts. They need to go as smoothly as possible. I'm not going to worry, or I might worry a little bit about, I don't want all to be consecutives. And part of the reason for a formula like this is that it stops you from just going chord 1, chord 2, chord 3, chord 4, chord 5, chord 6, which is just a horrible fest of root position chords that just jars. So it's not what you want to do. Okay, doing a bit of quick orchestration here. Got the fifth of the chord. And I'll put the C there. I'll run the C there. Now, I need... oh, wait, hang on. I can do that. Cool. Oops. Bear with me. So you see I'm using the notes in the chord, but I'm trying to make them as smooth as possible. Unfortunately, every time I put a chord on the end of the line, the computer tries to take me to the next system, so I can't see what's going on. That would be lovely, holding that F across. Oh wait, no, we don't want the A. Keep to the script. And that just needs to resolve. So there's nothing wrong with some unisons if you need to. Okay. All right. So we need some levels here. The poor old harp is not getting heard very well. So let's see if we can improve that. We'll turn these strings down. Let's turn them down so we can hear the harp. How's that going to sound? They can come right down. A little bit of audio mixing. There we go. All right, now just need a melody with the flute. Here we go. We've got the whole thing drafted out. I'm going to start with a long note. And because I want to explore this same C that is in the next three chords, I'm going to sort of draft that out as a bit of an idea, right? Because notes in common are amazing. So when you can exploit a note in common, then you can create what's known as oblique motion, where something stays the same while other things change around it, either moving up or down around it. And particularly with a scale bass line, where you've got just the line ascending in scale format, having just a note in common is really, really useful. But let's maybe... and so I'm just embellishing around it. These I am totally making this up right now. I honestly have no idea what I'm doing. So I'm probably embarrassing myself by doing all of this in front of you, but just really trying to demonstrate what the possibilities are, and so you can kind of see things being formed. Of course, I would spend, if I was really composing right now, I would spend a lot more time working on some of these melodic shapes, but anyway, just for the purpose of this demonstration. Actually, you can't see. All right, here we go. I'm going to embarrass myself. This probably sounds terrible. It's all right. And of course, once you hear it like that, we'll turn the flute up as well so we can hear it a bit better. Once you start getting into this, of course, I'm going to go to a non-chord tone here. Actually, I think I like the F better. So traditionally, leaping a seventh like that was a real no-no, but in the 20th century, it's really quite satisfying. And the reason why it works here is by leaping that seventh, it's kind of like reaching above to the dissonant note and then resolving by stepping down, and it's quite satisfying. 1 and 2 and extending that idea a little bit. I think it's a bit busy, to be honest. I think I might write that. That might be better. I don't know about this. I'm going to try it. Yep, I think that's nice. All right, let's quickly finish this off, and then there is an ascending scale bass line. Detailing. I won't try and sing this in front of you. Really going to exploit that. And then I can tie that across the bar line, because you'll see the E here is an anticipation note going into this chord, because the E is part of this chord. So that will be very satisfying to listen to. I think I need to reach my way up to that note. It's a bit it's a bit sudden, so I think there you go. And again, actually, sorry. I put the B there. We want to hold off the B because we've got G sus, G7 sus. And now we want to resolve it. Probably not a very satisfying ending. All right, anyway, I might change that last note, but here we go. All right, here it is. Okay, so it's simple, and obviously I would spend a lot more time working on that melodic shape. You can see how it's all about the embellishing, the art of composition. If you really want to know the art of composition, once you get a basic structure happening, the art of composition is in the embellishing and making the way that melody moves just a magic experience. Okay, but being able to use harmony like this really helps support the melody. So there's your formula for ascending scale bass line just in a simple diatonic key, and it can go forwards ascending, and you can use the same going backwards. Okay, so you should definitely have a go at that. In the coming episodes, we'll have a look at how to create chromatic ascending and descending scale bass lines. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this. Hope it helps, and we'll see you in the next one.